Hi, I'm Jessica Dodon Martinez, Lieutenant with the Rancho Fire Rescue, and today we're going to be going over the reopening for the city of Rancho and the safe practices that we're going to be taking and doing so with the reopening with the city of Rancho. So the things that we're going to be discussing are safe practices and social distancing in the workplace, the employee health screening form, personal protective equipment that we'll be using in our facilities, decontamination and disinfection, and exposure. So I'm going to sanitize and I'm going to toss this over to Teresa so she can go over what she needs to go over.
Thanks, Jess. Hi, I'm Teresa Greeno. I'm the emergency manager for the city of Rio Rancho, and I'm going to talk about social distancing in the workplace. So what does social distancing mean when we're coming back to work? Well, we're going to be wanting to keep a 6-foot distance between ourselves and coworkers and the public. That's roughly 2 arms length away from another person. We also want to make sure that we're not gathering in groups. So we don't want to be hanging out at lunchtime or before work in large groups together like we might have done before COVID. We want to stay out of crowded places and avoid mass gatherings. All of these things are really important because doing this has shown to help stop the spread within our community. And don't forget to use hand sanitizer.
Thank you, Teresa. Hi, my name is Paul Beers. I'm the fire chief for Rio Rancho Fire Rescue. And you've all received a copy of this operations guide, and one of the things that it has in it is it talks about health screenings. And so I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about what health screening is and why it's important to do it. So Rio Rancho Fire Rescue, we've been doing health screenings for all of our firefighters since this started a couple months ago. And it involves a temperature check every morning for every employee. And so why is that important? Well, for one thing, it's important to become self-aware of what's going on with your own body. And so knowing what your temperature is every day, and you kind of track and trend what your temperature is, and if you see any changes in it, if it's a significant change, then you might be needing to think about, are you having any symptoms? And so the other part of the health screening, we've got a single entry point into every facility. And so having that single entry point with a scanner to monitor your temperature helps us be consistent. The other part of doing the health screening is a symptom check. So you should have all seen this already, and you either have this on your computer or on paper. And basically this is for you. This is a guide for you to kind of check and see if you've had any of these symptoms over the past week. And what this does is this helps give the State Department of Health a guide to when you became symptomatic. And it helps them trace anybody that you had contact with prior to that. And so that contact tracing is really important to help us define who may have been exposed if you end up coming down sick. So this is for you to keep either on your computer or on paper. There's been a lot of questions about privacy. This is for you. This isn't going to go anywhere. This doesn't go to your supervisor or to HR, but this is for you to use in the event that you do become ill. So I do want to talk a little bit about if you do become symptomatic or if you end up with a fever or any kind of symptoms prior to you coming to work, it is important that you use that opportunity to contact HR for guidance. There's a hotline that we're going to talk about later that you can call the state on whether you should get tested or not. And it's important for you to stay safe, to keep your fellow employees safe, and to keep the public safe. So please monitor your health every day. And it's also important, make sure that you sanitize your hands every chance you get.
Hello, I'm Terry Wayland, the Division Manager for the City of Rio Rancho Fleet and Building Division. I want to talk to you a little bit about as far as for the openings of the city buildings and what facilities we're going to have open to the public. Basically, City Hall, all right, and Municipal Court are going to be open as of the May 26th, right after Memorial Day weekend. The MVD will be by appointment only. The Animal Resource Center will be by appointment only. And the Rio Rancho Library will be by appointment only from 9 to 3. A couple things I want to talk to you about as far as the openings, as far as these buildings, and what we're doing is we're developing sneeze guards, okay, to protect you and also to protect the public. These are going to be professionally installed, okay, by one of the glass companies here in Rio Rancho. Other thing that we're doing, I want to show you, is you will see these, okay, placemats that will be put in a lot of the city facilities. This one as well. And these are to designate for the public when they come into the city facilities, so they'll know as far as where to stand, where to wait, how many as far as for occupancy. Okay, basically we develop the occupancy loads that we have developed. We're in coordination with our city fire department and make sure that we have the amount of people required in every city facility for the public, and not to go over, and to keep and maintain that amount of people in those areas. And that's what those place guards are going to be actually providing, as far as to make sure that we don't have too many people in the actual city facilities. Now let me put on something real quick. Besides cleaning and maintaining the facilities the way we were doing before, we've gone extra precautions for every city building and every office, everywhere as far as where the public and our city employees will be. They won't be wearing something like this, but this is something that we would actually be going to. But the special solution that is hypochlorous acid will be sprayed in a lot of different areas, including the courts, including DPS, fire department, city hall, every single building that the city maintains. These things will be sprayed in every single area, even after evenings, daytimes, and throughout the day, just to kill all the germs necessary to protect you as far as our employees. Make sure that each of you wash your hands and use anything that you can as far as any one of the disinfectants that we have. And here you go.
Hi there, my name is Jimmy DeFlippo, Deputy Chief with the Rio Rancho Fire Department. Today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about PPE, personal protective equipment, and how we can stay safe during these COVID emergencies while all of us are reporting back to work. Some of the misconceptions about PPE, and along with some of the issues of now that we're back to work having to wear due to some of the governor's orders. There are many different types of PPE out there that we're encouraging everybody to wear. Every city employee was issued a cloth mask, a bunch of different types of cloth masks. The most important factor being is appropriate fitment as far as protecting both our nose and our mouth when we're wearing them. This was one type that I was wearing that goes over the ear and covers both my nose and my mouth as I'm working throughout the day. Allows for me to breathe freely, but it also prevents anything from coming in that I don't want. Some other types, I've got a surgical mask here, which is an over the ear type as well. This is nice because it's easy to don and doff. However, this does have a limited lifespan and doesn't last nearly as long as the cloth masks. Also another option for those that are looking for it. A lot of these cloth masks were donated to us by citizens and have different features. This mask particularly has an area to put in a filter if you wanted that added protection, and it has the ability to nose cup as well as cinch in tight so that it is actually protecting both your nose and your mouth. All different types were issued to all different city employees, where we encourage everybody to wear them, especially when in contact with the general public. Some other options as far as PPE are the N95 mask. Definitely a misconception that the N95 mask is the end-all be-all as far as protection goes. These cloth masks are completely acceptable and appropriate. We are reserving N95 masks for those that are in the medical field because they are in limited supply, and they are unlimited use. Unfortunately, their lifespan and ability to keep these clean is limited, which makes them not a viable option for daily use. We are limiting these to our first responders. Another added measure about our cloth masks that makes them the preferred is that once a week we encourage everybody on a minimum to wash these. Mild detergent in the washing machine and then let them air dry, then they'll be acceptable for reuse. If you have a mask that was issued to you that doesn't fit appropriately, I suggest you meet with your supervisor and then you can go ahead and get with me and we can see if we can find another one that fits a little bit better. Something else about PPE that we've discussed and is definitely options out there is medical grade gloves. Although medical grade gloves are perfect for preventing bloodborne pathogens in the medical field by preventing the spread of body fluids and blood, is not the preferred measure for the COVID virus, mainly because it takes a certain amount of training to get gloves on and off to prevent the spread of the disease and exposures. But when we're wearing our gloves, as we are touching objects on our desk, in our workspace, all we are doing is moving that from one area to another, as opposed to if we were using good hygiene, washing our hands regularly, which is going to kill the virus or any bacteria, or using hand sanitizer. Using hand sanitizer regularly is going to be our best mode of protection in the event that there is some germs or viruses out there, because it kills it on contact. So we're definitely encouraging everybody to wear their PPE, to have good mindset, to wear good hygiene, not be touching their face, not be eating at our workspaces where we have contact with the general public, and make sure that we're staying safe. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Hi, my name is Captain Dave Hooksma with the Rio Rancho Fire Department, and I'm going to talk about exposures. Although unlikely, employees need to be aware of what to do, what an exposure is, and the process to take if you believe you've been exposed to a COVID-19 positive person. So the following exposure classifications have been modeled from what we here at the fire department have been doing since this pandemic began. So it's broken down into 3 categories: low, medium, and high risk exposures. Most interactions with the public are going to fall under the low risk category. So if an employee and the citizen are both wearing face masks, if you stay that 6 feet apart and keep the interaction brief, there's little to no risk to either party involved. A medium risk exposure would be one of the parties not wearing a face mask, either the employee or the citizen, and having prolonged close contact, so having a longer interaction and being within 6 feet of each other. A high risk exposure would be neither party wearing a face mask and having that prolonged exposure and being within that six feet of each other. If you believe that you've been involved in a high or medium risk exposure, you need to contact your supervisor and they're going to provide you with further direction where to proceed. Thank you.
Thanks, Captain Hooksma. So if you believe you've been exposed, you need to contact your supervisor, human resources, and the hotline for the coronavirus. The number is going to be 1-855-600-3453, and that's probably also on the screen for further direction. Thank you for your time. We're glad you're back to work. Stay safe and healthy.